In this video, we're going to take a look at finding the sample variance and sample standard deviation of an application. So here, a simple random sample of 8 men is chosen from a large population of men, and their heights are measured. The 8 heights in inches are given here. Find the sample variance and the sample standard deviation. Now go ahead and pause the video and try this on your own. Remember that the sample variance is just simply the measure of spread from the sample mean. So to find the sample variance, what we would have to do is find the sum of squares, and we would have to divide that by n minus 1. Now remember, the sum of squares formula is just simply the sum from I equals 1 to n, in this case n is 8, of the squared values minus, then you would have to sum from I equals 1 to n, again n is 8, of all of your values and square them after you add them, divide that by n, and then divide all of this by n minus 1. And that would give us our sample variance. So firstly, we would have to find the sum from I equals 1 to n of your values. That just simply means find the sum from I equals 1 to 8, so from the first value all the way to the 8th value of your raw data set. So in this case, you would have 65.51 plus 72.3 plus so on and so forth up until you got to your 8th value of 70.68. That should work out to 553.08. Now the next thing that you want to do is obtain the sum from I equals 1 to n of the squared values. So that would just be the sum from the first value all the way to the 8th value of your squared values. In this case, you would take your first value, 65.51, square that, then move on and add your second value, 72.3, square that, and so on and so forth up until you get to the 8th value of 70.68 squared. In this case, this should sum to 38,274.696. Now we can easily sub these two values in to the variance formula above to obtain our sample variance. So again, the sum from I equals 1 to n of your squared values is this value here, 38,274.696 minus, now the sum of each individual value here is 553.08, then we would square that to follow through with the formula. We would divide that by n, where n is 8, and we would divide all of this by n minus 1, so that would be 7. Now once evaluating this, it should work out to 5.3586. Now again, the variance is just simply the measure of spread from the sample mean. So the measure of spread from our sample mean is about 5.36 inches. So our standard deviation is just simply the square root of your variance. So the square root of 5.3586. And in this case, our sample standard deviation is about 2.3149 inches.